Good evening. This is the video newsletter for Buy Sell Short for Wednesday, September 28th. Yet another ugly session today. Actually, this last week has just sucked. This is probably, actually, there's no probably. This is the worst market I've traded in the 13 plus years I've been trading stock. This market is awful as far as I'm concerned, and that's the reason why we pressed to 100% cash overnight over the last few days. The risk reward in this market is just not there. We had, a quotation marks great rally over the last couple of days. As you can see here on the chart, the Dow up almost 800 points over the course of the last 4 days, and that essentially was on the back of 10, 12 stocks maybe, just all large caps, IBM, Apple, etc., etc. 90% of the market just dead. And that 90% of the market, when we had our first little pullback today in the Dow, the Dow down 180 points, we just have had decimation in small and mid-cap stocks. The risk, traders are just not taking any risk at all. Commodities have been decimated, down big again today. And, the risk reward in this market is just not there. I would rather us just sit back, sit on our hands, and just let them flush this market out. Continue to do what we've been doing. Small intraday scalps, heavy or all cash overnight, and just wait for the risk reward to come back in our favor. This is a market where no trade can be the best trade you can actually do. And there are periods, and this market scenario that we're in right now, it occurs at least once every year. Not as bad as we're seeing right now, but it's a common occurrence in really bad markets. And, the analogy I like to use is it's always darkest before the dawn. There's a lot of fear out there, and, let's just sit back. Markets like this are followed by manias. We've been trading long enough to know that's exactly how it goes. The decimation we're seeing in small and mid-cap stocks sets us up for a really nice end-of-the-year rally into January. Santa rally, January effect rally. There's no use rushing in and accumulating stocks and holding on to them. Let's pull up the Russell 2K chart. Down 4% today. Just a big whooping in the small caps. And as I was saying in the chat room over the last couple of days, it seems, and it has seemed, when we had that big rally Monday and Tuesday, the small caps were actually breaking down left and right. It sort of doesn't really show up here on the Russell 2K chart, but for the most part, a lot of micro stocks are just breaking down. And we do have quarter-end window dressing very evident in this market right now. Just that last 2-day rally was them trying to paint up the large caps, and what they were doing while they were painting the large caps up was jumping out of small caps, and we were seeing small caps break down left and right. We could see more of that over the next couple of days. What will really happen is we'll get a good idea where this market stands next week once all these quarter-end games are over. We also have that big vote in Germany tomorrow regarding whether they're going to continue to fund or increase the funding for this Europe bailout. And we continue to be held hostage by this crap going on in Europe. I mean, people don't realize in the U.S., we got the Fed. We got one body, one person essentially determining what happens. In Europe, we got 17 idiots trying to come to agreement with 17 different priorities, really, and that's why it takes forever for them to do anything. Daily chart on the Dow, again, we continue to be range-bound, and you'll see this, pretty much all the indices have the same sort of setup, and as I've continued to say, I'll get a little bit bullish on a break of the 50-day moving average and a break through 11,600, 700. Until then, 1/3 positions, 90 to 100% cash nightly, and just not forced trades is essentially the stance I'm taking. The one area of strength in the market, the SMH, got beaten over the head today, had a big gain yesterday and the day before, and then, let's see what happens tomorrow. If we get a gap down, bad news from Europe or whatever, let's see how it reacts at this uptrend support line around $29. At this stage of the game, I'd rather them just burn the house down, tank everything over the next week, and then we can work on recovering into year end. Because, I'm not the only one sitting here at Kai Cash just not willing to dip my toes in the market. And when you get into a market in this kind of situation, usually you need a really big flush out to really bottom us out. If we look at the VIX chart, here is the VIX weekly. Is this the weekly chart I have up here? Nope. Here's the VIX daily chart, and we're looking like we could get a flag breakout here on the VIX over the next couple of days. So I'm more inclined not to risk anything. I just have no risk at all for this market. Even shorts are getting their asses handed to them in this market. You're going to say, how can the shorts be getting their asses handed to them? The market was down 179 points today. This market, over the last couple of days, we could be down 20 points. 2 seconds later, we're up 70. Moves like that, driven by the robots, trip you out of your shorts, and then the market drops down again. Not a scenario I want to be messing around with at all. If we go back to the daily chart, we actually had a golden cross on the daily chart that has failed. And that's a pretty rare occurrence for a golden cross on the 15-minute chart to fail. But when it does fail, we typically see some decent downside risk. So, we could be looking at retesting that 10.7, 10.600 area. Unless, of course, the thing that holds us hostage, Europe, comes out with some sort of positive news. So, again, be patient, guys. Don't force trades in this market. It's okay not to trade stocks. One thing in this market, I jumped into EK last week, and I ended up having a really hefty loss when they came out with some news. We cut our losses on this when it broke our stops. We dumped out. This stock got hammered today on a Fitz downgrade. This is the kind of market, if your stops hit, you run for the hills. You don't look to average down. You don't look to say it's going to rebound for you. If your trading plan says your stop is at a certain point, you stop out, you walk away. This is not an average down market. This is not a double up market. This is a trade very, very tightly market. This is a trade like a scared bitch market, essentially, for lack of a better word. For a lot of you guys, especially new traders, just sit back. We could reverse course tomorrow. We could start a monster rally tomorrow. Or it could be a week from now. Let's just sit back, wait for the risk reward to flip in our favor, and then go from there. I'd rather be high cash, miss the early stage of a rally, trade intraday, than to be holding a bunch of stuff overnight and get smacked over the head by some garbage news overseas or, some other nonsense like that. So, let the market work its way out. Tomorrow, volume should be really, really low. We've got the Jewish holiday, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. If we get bad news tomorrow on a low volume day, it could get really, really ugly in the markets. Likewise, if we get good news, it could be really, really big up day on the markets as well. So, I'm building my list right now of stocks that I like, but I'm not going into them. There are a lot of plays breaking down left and right. Let's throw up a couple. We had some that we were in last week. LXRX, Splat. What's another one? Well, we just looked at EK. Here is ACLS, breakdown. EMKR, this is one, breakdown. So we're seeing this left and right, especially in small caps land. No use in jumping in front of the train just yet. So be patient, high cash, sit back, no need to force things, and that's pretty much it. If you've got any questions, any concerns, any plays you don't know what to do with, if you're not high cash or how to manage that, feel free to send me an email or hit me up in the chat room. I'm just sitting back right now, so if you've got any questions, definitely hit me up. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the chat room tomorrow. Good night.